If you understand the stock market, but you still have this belly, this gut, this might sting a little because you know how to build wealth, but you have no idea how to actually build a body that you're proud of. And the principles are literally the same. Now, I have built a six-figure fitness business all whilst competing in three bodybuilding shows, running six marathons, and competing in two high rocks competitions. And I've coached hundreds of busy, career driven men drop 30 to 50 pounds, all without sacrificing their favorite foods or spending hours in the gym. So today, I'm going to show you why the same rules that make you rich in the stock market are the exact same rules that will get you lean with six pack abs. We'll be discussing concepts such as time in the market versus timing the market, dollar cost averaging, index funds versus stock picking, panic selling, crypto scams, long-term compounding, and why you are violating every single one of these on your health and fitness journey. So let's start with point number one. Time in the market is greater than timing the market. In finance, everyone knows this, right? It's not about time in the market. It is about timing the market. You don't wait for the perfect dip, or you don't wait for the perfect macro environment, or you don't wait until inflation cools off. No, you start investing and you let time compound. But when it comes to your own health and your own fitness, you don't do that. You do the exact opposite. This is literally what you tell yourself. You say, I'll start after this vacation. I'll start when work slows down. I will start when things just calm down. But you and I both know they never calm down. The perfect time does not exist. Just like the perfect time to start investing doesn't exist. The earlier you start and the longer you stay in the market, the more time you let compounding do its thing. And the exact same thing applies to your health and fitness journey. The people who started when they were younger, maybe when they were a teenager, early 20s, late 20s, whatever, and took messy action, did not wait for the perfect circumstances, are now years ahead of people who kept on waiting, keep on waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, right? And this is a fallacy, and you know it is, because life will never slow down. Life will never get less busy. If anything, you watching this video right now, your life will be the least busiest it'll ever be. It'll only keep on getting more stressful, more busier. You're going to keep on having more responsibilities. Things are going to keep on stacking up. So if you can't do it now, unfortunately, things will only get more difficult as you let time progress, right? So the entrepreneur who understands compounding but won't apply it to his body is quite literally sabotaging himself. Now, the guy, random Chad, maybe not the smartest dude, but he started lifting 5 years ago, casually, it's just winning today because he started 5 years ago. He took messy action. And you probably know this. You probably see this. You're probably very smart if you're investing in the stock market, if you're running a business, right? You're probably very smart. But then you look at people who are in shape, who have six-pack abs. You go to the beach, you're like, how on earth is this random Chad who can't even do basic math, whatever? How is he so jacked? How is he so lean? How does he have six-pack abs? Whereas I went to school, I went to university, I went to all these things. I have this high-paying job, whatever. How can he do that? Working a part-time job, whatever. And then I'm here with a dad bod, with the guts. How is that possible? It's because that guy was, I would dare and say, stupid enough to start, even though he did not have the perfect conditions, even though he did not really know how to start. But guess what? Because he took messy action and he kept on progressing over time, because the more of it you do, the better at it you will get. He just kept on lapping people who kept on waiting for the perfect moment, right? If you watch a movie, you probably see it's like a stereotypical thing where, the not so smart people, if you will, tend to be the strongest, like the meatheads, the protein junkies, all these things, right? Which I think is so ironic, but They do one thing very well, and that is just starting, despite not having everything figured out, despite not knowing everything in advance. Right. And so the guy who started lifting 5 years ago and is casually winning today, he isn't winning today because he was perfect, but because he stayed in the game. He started and he just stuck with it. He stayed consistent. The biggest thing that they have that you don't is consistency when it comes to health and fitness, because fat loss and muscle building, the only thing that it rewards is consistency and not perfection. Moving on to point 2, dollar cost averaging. In investing, smart people dollar cost average. They invest consistently every single week, every single month, every single year, regardless of market noise. Whether it's up, whether it's down, whether it's a bear market, bull market, it doesn't matter. They just consistently invest, right? Because they have conviction that's long term. The US economy, the real economy in itself will just keep on going up, which it has since the world has basically started. Of course, there's going to be dips, there's going to be recessions, there's going to be times when things aren't always going to be good. But the longer that you are in the market and the more that you can ride out the waves, the more successful you will be. And you will come out in a positive way. Just like your own health and fitness journey. It's not going to be a smooth, linear road. When it comes to fat loss, like all of our clients, I do check-ins every single week, and I have them weigh themselves and we look at the graph together, right? It's like from week 1 to week 12 or to week 16. It should, the more you scope out, be like a nice linear line downwards, right? Losing around 1 to 2 pounds a week on average. But then if we scope in a bit, if we zoom in, there's going to be weeks and certainly days where your weight will fluctuate, right? You're not going to be losing a pound a week every single week. No, like life happens. You're not always going to be perfect. Sometimes you're either holding on to a bit more water weight due to stress, due to sodium, due to salt, or sometimes you just maybe ate a bit more food, right? But that's not when you should panic sell and just completely stop. Like, no, you take it for what it is, but then you keep on going. And then over time, the longer you can ride it out, and the more that we scope out, the more linear you see the trend go downwards when it comes to your fat loss journey, right? And so in fitness, this is what it looks like. Training 3 to 5 days per week, hitting your protein goal daily, walking daily, and sleeping consistently. You don't go all in for just 30 days. You don't crash diet, and you certainly do not do a 75-day hard challenge and then disappear. You show up repeatedly. Most wealthy men I talk to are elites at financial dollar cost averaging. They know it makes sense to them. It's common sense to them. But physically, when it comes to their own bodies, their own health, they binge, they restrict, disappear, restart, and then quit. You are emotionally investing in your body instead of systemically investing. If you can get your emotion out of it, just like you take your emotion out of the stock market, you are going to be so successful. You will be. So let's move over to point 3. Stop trying to pick the perfect stocks. In the market, most professionals underperform the S&P 500. So what do smart investors do? They buy a very simple index fund, right? A big basket of the top 500 stocks, and they just dollar cost average into that. Simple, right? You don't have to worry about picking the right stock. You don't have to do a bunch of research. You just set it and forget it. It's low cost, broad exposure, and you just let it ride. You ride it out. But in fitness, you are here trying to analyze, trying to pick the perfect program before you even start. You look at different diets, the keto diet, carnivore diet, intermittent fasting, CrossFit, Orange Theory, cold plunges, biohacking protocols, peptides. You don't need the perfect program. You don't need the perfect supplement. You don't need the perfect anything. What you need is the equivalent of an index fund. Now, what does that look like in fitness? Very simple. Lift weights, eat mostly whole foods, eat enough protein. If your goal is fat loss, stay in a calorie deficit and walk daily. That right there is your program. It's not perfect, it's not sexy, but it works. It works for every single person. But the people who want to get fancy, the people who want the new biohacking trends, whatever, those are the ones that fail because they're constantly looking for these flashy new things. They're looking for shortcuts. But you cannot shortcut your way to wealth. Compounding takes time. So why do you think that your body, that your fitness is any different? The things that I just listed out, the lifting weights, eating protein, eating healthy, sleeping, it's boring, but it's repeatable and it's very effective. The wealthy guy who overcomplicates fitness is the exact same guy who would lose a bunch of money trying to day trade, right? Moving on to point number 4, panic selling. When the market dips, guess what the amateurs do? They panic sell. When the scale goes up 3 pounds, 4 pounds overnight, you panic, you stress out. So what do? You slash calories the next day. You add a bunch of unnecessary cardio, 2 hours on the treadmill, and you overcorrect. Now, when in reality, that's 2 to 3 to 4 pounds you just gained overnight, it's not body fat. I made a video about this yesterday, but 1 pound of fat has 3,500 calories. So you literally have to eat 3,500 calories on top of your maintenance in order to gain 1 pound of body fat. So all that weight that you gain overnight is likely just water retention due to sodium, due to stress, and due to hormones. One bad weigh-in does not equal fat gain. So do not panic. The guy who holds during volatility wins long-term. The guy who sticks to the plan when the scale fluctuates wins physically. You don't judge your portfolio daily. So why are you judging your body daily? Right? Like today, the market could be down. Tomorrow, the market could go up. It fluctuates. And that is normal in the stock market. But then why do you panic? And you don't panic sell, obviously, when it happens in the stock market. But then why do you panic if overnight you gained 2 pounds of fat? You slash calories, add cardio, do all these extreme things, right? It's like, hopefully you guys are understanding, like, by making these comparisons and similarities, how similar health and fitness is to the stock market and building wealth. But then why aren't you applying the same principles to your health and fitness if you are already successful financially in the stock market, right? And I realized this a couple of years ago, how similar these things are. I'm 25 years old. I started investing when I was 18, as soon as I could, basically. I've always been good with my money. And yeah, I kind of like put the 2 and 2 together, and I kind of realized how similar these things are. And not just this, but like in anything really, building a business. Like, it isn't the flashy things that work. It's like just the boring, repeatable things done for a really, really long time and not getting distracted. That always works. Moving on to point 5, long-term mindsets. This is a big one. We live in a world of instant gratification where we want things quick. We don't want to wait 20 years. We don't want to wait 30 years. Why wait if we can do things instantly? And I get it. I want things quick too. I want quick results, but I've just been slapped in the face so many times where it's just not worth it, right? Real wealth is built over decades and not over 6 weeks. You know this. Once again, then why are you thinking that your body is different? Realistically speaking, like really being real with yourself, if you're 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds overweight, that you're not gonna lose it in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months, especially with your current set of habits. It took you years, maybe even decades. It was almost like this slow burn that made you gain that 50 pounds of fat over time. So why on earth are you expecting to lose it all in 2 weeks in this 4-week challenge that you see online? It doesn't make sense. You lack common sense when it comes to your health, but you have so much sense. You have so much willpower and discipline and all these things when it comes to the stock market. Real wealth isn't built over decades, or it is built over decades, not in 6 weeks, but you want a 20-year physique built in 12 weeks. Muscle takes time. Fat loss takes patience and habits. In order to keep the results, take repetition. You built your business over years, right? It wasn't an overnight success. So why do you expect your body to transform overnight? The irony here is brutal. You have patience with money, but zero patience with your health. Lastly, stop falling for crypto scams. In finance, there are always shiny objects. Crypto, rug pulls, get rich quick schemes, fake gurus. And in fitness, it's the exact same game, right? You got all the crazy supplements. You got the fat burners. You got the detox tea, test boosters, six-pack abs and 14-day programs. If it sounds too good to be true, it likely is. Let me re-say that. It most definitely is. Wealthy men fall for fitness scams because they want speed, but your body compounds like capital. Slow, predictable, reliable, not explosive overnight. And so here's the uncomfortable truth that you may or may not want to hear. You are disciplined in business because the market punishes you immediately. If you panic sell, if you make a mistake. But your body, and like here's like this is kind of like where it kind of stings and where it kind of sucks. But when it comes to your body, it gives you a delayed penalty. You can very well ignore your sleep. You can ignore your training. You can ignore your diet today. And 5 years later, you look up and don't recognize yourself anymore. Now you're that rich, wealthy guy with the poor body. High income, but low energy, low testosterone, low confidence. In my personal opinion, that is not winning. The three pillars in life are health, wealth, and relationships. You've crushed it with your health, with your wealth. But if you neglect your health, you cannot experience the fruits of your labor. Who cares having money? Who cares being rich if you cannot utilize it towards living the life you want to live, exploring, traveling, creating new memories, experiences, networking, meeting more people? If you have a boatload of cash, but you can't do anything with it, it kind of begs the question, what was the purpose? Why did you do all of this? Just to chase something? And then what? It doesn't make any sense, right? And now, personally, I've coached entrepreneurs making multiple six figures. They track stocks obsessively, but they won't even track their protein intake. They don't even know how many calories they're consuming. They won't even track their workouts. They understand compound interest, but won't compound habits, their daily set of habits to get them healthy. Now, the moment these people actually treat their bodies like a portfolio, everything changes. So here's the lesson that I want you to take from this. Health is the ultimate appreciating asset, right? No one can take this away from you. It drives energy, confidence, attraction, leadership, longevity, all these things, so that you can actually experience all the hard work you've been putting into your business, into work. Your body is the engine that produces your income. Because guess what? With low energy, low confidence, low leadership, it trickles down. It's a domino effect, right? If you have no energy, you're probably not going to show up to work. Or if you do show up to work, you show up messy, unprofessional. And here's a personal story, but this is the way the world works. If two people walk into a room, two businessmen, whatever, one of them is in shape. And by the way, when you're in shape, you dramatically improve your attractiveness. Like it just is, right? Like if you have six-pack abs, you automatically become more attractive. But guess what? People will start to respect you a whole lot more versus the other person who walks in but is fat, obese, overweight. Subconsciously, and this is just the way humans are wired. This isn't me saying it's right or wrong, but it's just the way the world works. You will instantly respect the person who is in shape, and you will have a hard time trusting the person who is fat and overweight and obese, because it shows a lot about a person, right? If you see someone who's out of shape, it doesn't just show off physically, but then where else is this playing out in their lives? Because if they cannot even control what they put into their mouth, if they can't exercise, they don't have the discipline, the willpower, the consistency, right? Like so many things. You can tell a lot about a person just by simply looking at them. The person who's in shape, you can tell that, okay, this person has traits of consistency. He can stick with something. He can endure difficulty, right? Going through the reps, doing difficult workouts. He can delay his gratification. He can eat a healthy meal, maybe despite not wanting to. He he can get his sleep in. He can get his water in, right? Like all these character traits, you can tell by a person if they're in shape versus the person that's out of shape. You can tell that, yeah, they probably don't have any of that, right? Same thing with like you go down the street and you will immediately see someone who's pretty and it'll catch your eye, right? It's like there's a reason why models get paid so much, because us as human beings, like we're attracted to that. We're attracted to beauty. We're attracted to handsomeness, attractiveness, right? That's just the way the world works. And so why put yourself at a disadvantage by building up all this wealth, but then not being able to do anything with it, right? Your body is the engine that produces your income. The better in shape you will be, the more energy you'll have. The more energy you have, the more confidence you have. The more confidence you have, the more hours you work, the more productive you work, the more likelihood of you getting a raise. Like all these things kind of trickle down. So it isn't just about you getting fit. It's about what it can lead to, what it trickles down to, right? And hopefully you guys understand this, because neglecting it is like neglecting the company that funds your investments. Don't neglect your health, just like you don't neglect your work, your business, or your relationships, right? Like if you're in a relationship right now, the goal isn't to just get into a relationship and then boom, you check it off your list and then you don't worry about it anymore. You don't go on date nights anymore. You don't treat it like a relationship anymore. Like, no, you've done the hard work, but now it's about maintaining it. Continuously keep on going on date nights. Keep that spark, keep that excitement. You've done the hard work, yes, but now it's about maintaining it, right? And so here's my closing message. Making over six figures doesn't matter if you don't have a six-pack to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You've built the money, well done, congratulations. Now build the machine that earns it, because the real flex is not your net worth. Here's the real flex. It's walking into a room with presence, with confidence, with discipline, and a body that actually reflects it. So if you are a high-performing guy who has built his wealth but has kind of lost his edge, and you know deep down that you have, what you can go ahead and do is book a free consultation call with me down below, where we'll essentially go over your current goals. We'll see exactly how much weight you're looking to lose, whether it's 20 pounds up to 50 pounds, up to 100 pounds, if you let yourself go that much. We'll look at your current struggles. What is holding you back right now? Why are you this? And why have you stayed like this? We'll identify what it is, and then we'll create a game plan together to help you absolutely demolish these goals in the next 3 to 6 months. If that sounds good to you, the link will be in the description down below, and I'll see you all there. Peace.